My name is Salem King. I'm a content creator. Among other things, I am a teacher, an influencer. I wear many hats, but when people ask what you do, you need to tell them one thing before you bore them, because nobody likes the guy who's always talking about himself. So I'm a content creator. So I started content creation before I knew that it was content creation. A little background. So when Snapchat came out and Snapchat was like hot, I really hated Snapchat because I felt like Snapchat was for interesting people that used to ball every Friday. So they would like, you had to record real time in Snapchat. So you had to record like your life going very well and all. My life was nothing like that, so I hated Snapchat. But when Instagram introduced Insta Stories, that was my miracle. And I really loved it because you could edit outside of the app and bring it into the app and tell the story. You could present the story in the way you wanted it to look. So it just gave an outlet for my really loud mind. I am also an introvert, so I have really loud thoughts because I'm mostly observant in social situations because I'm not talking a lot. And I just started making videos and posting on Insta stories. I only used to get like 20, 30, 40 people on a good day view my stories, but I just kept doing that and just sharing my thoughts, whatever I was learning during the week or from a book I read or from some articles. I would just share, make videos while I was preparing for work and all. At some point, I decided to start posting those videos on my feed, and that's when my content creation kind of took off. I started taking it seriously in January of 2019. In January, I decided I was going to make 30 videos in 30 days, and I was going to post all to my feed. Before then, I wasn't really posting videos on my feed. I ended up doing, in my mind, I had 1,500 followers at the time, and all I wanted was from between 1st of January and 30th of January, all my followers to go from 1,500 to 2,000. That's just all I wanted. But between January 1st and 30th, my account had grown from 1,500 to 5,000. And I ended up not even posting up to 30 videos. I posted 21 videos because at some point I had to slow down. Everything was becoming really crazy. A lot of people were coming around. And yeah, January 2019, that's when everything really took off. So Instagram is my primary platform at the moment. Secondarily, Twitter, but I also have an email list that I reach out to from time to time in a more personal way that I connect to, but primarily Instagram at the moment. So how many people do I reach every month? Well, in a week, about 10,000 based on profile visits weekly. So in a month, I would say around 40,000. Combine that with Twitter, around 50,000. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, depending on how much I'm posting. But that's around how many people I reach with my account. My content, however, goes a lot further than that, and I would have to check insights to come after that. But the number of people who check my account in a month are about that amount, about 50,000. Money, bro. That's what motivated me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. What motivated at the beginning? I think my motivations and priorities have changed over time. At the beginning, all I really wanted to do was just tell a story. I just knew that I had a gift for communication, and I had certain things I wanted to tell people. There's certain things I wanted to talk about, and I didn't find other people talking about them. So I decided to create the content I wanted to see. That's how I started. But over time, I realized that some of the videos I put out, there are days when I have to go back and watch those videos myself. And if I, who I'm the creator, if I need the content that much, I just think how much more the other people who are not me, right? So one of the things that motivates me now is need. The fact that I understand that people actually need this. The gear I currently use is an iPhone XR. Although for the longest time, the majority of the videos on my page right now were shot on an iPhone 7 Plus. Before that, I was using a cheap Samsung. That's what I started with. But now, iPhone XR at the moment, depending on when you're watching this. So I don't use any extra microphones because I'm filming in my room, and most times it's quiet, right? I use a ring light and a tripod and a mirror sometimes just so I can smile at myself. Yes, I script out my videos, every single word, down to the mannerisms, how I'm supposed to say certain words. I script every single thing to the letter. I use InShot at the moment. That's the app I use. I think it's the most underrated app for content creation, video content creation on mobile. this is not an ad. This has really helped me, and I think it's the most underrated app right now for video content creation mobile. To be honest, discipline at this point is more important than inspiration for me. I just have come to a point where I understand that I have to show up. If I want to arrive at, the destinations that I envision in my mind in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, where I see myself going, I have to show up, right? And every time I decide that I have to create, I end up creating. So it's not really something that happens by me being inspired. It's more about me just being disciplined and deciding to show up. No shade, but the thing is, when a lot of people ask people like me, how do you stay inspired? A lot of times they're asking because they want something that they can copy and paste and say, oh, how do you get inspired? So that they can take that and then go and apply it themselves. And sometimes when they try what you say and it doesn't work, they be like, oh, that thing Salem said, it doesn't really work. I'm not inspired. And then they take, so the books I don't know what exact books we're talking about, and I don't know shade to anyone, but ultimately, every single creator needs to recognize that it's action, it's your decision in a lot of ways that will lead to motivation, not the other way around. I don't think I have a typical day. Either, every day is kind of different. There are days when it's the weekend and I'm working from 6 a.m. in the morning on Saturday, and there are days when it's Sunday and I'm working from 3 till late at night on Sunday, and on Monday morning I'm sleeping in. So I don't really have a typical day. One thing is constant though, I will read every day. I'll spend some time creating something every day too. Sometimes I'll write. I may not always share what I create, but I will create something. I will write, or I'll make a video, I'll post on my Instagram stories. Those are some things that I definitely do every day, but I don't have a typical day. I think my best I don't think I have one best moment. I think I have multiple best moments, and some of them is when some people I look up to recognize my work, and once in a while they tell me, oh, I know you, I've been seeing what you've been doing, and I think you're doing great. It has come as a surprise to me. One time it was Steve Harris. I tagged him in something, and then he replied and said, oh, thank you so much. And he just said a number of kind words and said, Juget. I'm like, wait, how does he know what Juget is? And it turns out he had been seeing some of my content, and he says, yo, I don't always comment, I don't always like, but I see what you're doing. And he just encouraged me, and that meant the world to me. And another thing that is a best moment for me every time I post a video or write a caption, and there are people saying, I needed to hear this, or this thing you said. Some people come 3 weeks later or months later and say, this video you made, I finished writing my book because of this thing you said. One time I walked into an office building, and this lady walks up to me and said, I applied something I heard in your video, and that's how I got this job. And it was just really exciting for me, and that's always fulfilling for me. So every single one of those moments I have is one I count as my best moments. I take screenshots of some of them and just save for the rainy day, To be very honest, now that you asked this, I realized that I blank out a lot of bad memories. But I remember one when I put out word about a class, and I was planning for like months, and when it was time, as at the night before the class, only 3 people had paid. The 3 people, the money they paid was not enough to pay for the space that was going to be used for the class. But we had the class anyway. We invited a number of people to attend and fill up spaces, but it was a terrible night. I don't think I slept that night. The next day too was crazy, but I and my manager just went, and just showed up and put on our best show, gave them 100% value, and we just moved on, But that was a really, really bad experience. It was really disheartening and gut-wrenching. Yeah, I sing a lot. On my page, you might find 2 or 3 covers on my page. I sing. I also really love taking pictures with my phone. It's one of the ways that I de-stress. I just take a walk and take pictures, or go take pictures with my friends or of my friends. I used to also be very, very enthusiastic about smartphone photography. I still am, but at some point I thought I was going to do it for a living. I want to push the boundaries of smartphone photography as much as possible, so I really enjoy that. How long does it take me to make a video? There are two answers. The first answer is my whole life, right? It has taken all the experience I have, the education I have, the exposure I have, my interest, my experience, everything comes together to inform the perspective that makes it onto my videos. I hardly am, trying to write a script for a video and then I go start Googling articles or gathering research. I just speak from the wealth of whatever I've fed myself in the past. So that's why I say it has taken my whole life. Apart from that, it takes about 15 minutes to shoot. It takes 2 to 3 hours to edit. To write a script, that takes forever. I have a dozen scripts just lying on my phone that I will build on over time. Some have been there for a year, some have been there for a month. There are some I start today and finish today. It's not the same every day, but yeah, it takes a lot of time. I edit my videos on my phone. I edit my videos on my phone using InShots. Well, it's easier for me, right? I can edit my videos on the go. I don't know how to edit with anything apart from my phone. No lies, I don't know how to edit with anything apart from my phone. I could learn, but there's so much that I am involved in that does not give me the amount of time I need to be able to invest in learning. So I'm just like, rather than try to get better at editing on Adobe Premiere Pro or something, I'll just invest more time editing on my phone and getting better at this and teach more people how to do this. So it's sort of my niche now. I don't see it as a problem that needs solving. I just see it as where I belong, right? And I edit with my phone all the way. I don't think I'm spoiling market for anybody. There are people who need to edit on their phones. There are certain videos I want to make that I won't make on my phone. I'll go get an actual video director, right? But for the videos I want to create, I find that I can do it by myself on my phone, right? Rather than pay a videographer every single time I have to make a video, I can just do it on my phone. I would be making excuses, right? So if a videographer is worried about someone like me, then probably they haven't found their own voice. And I have found my own voice, and I'm not going to like come down so that anybody else will be comfortable. How many takes? I don't count anymore, fam. It's just so many. Although I don't, when I first started making videos, I would set up my tripod, put my phone, hit record, and try to record the whole thing. But it was too difficult because I would forget my lines, and all of that. So now how I make my videos is, I look at the script like right in front of my face. I record one line, I stop. I record another line and stop. The problem is each of those lines, sometimes I have to record them multiple times. So I could record one line anything between 5 to 10 or 20 times, as many times as it takes. And sometimes I'll just do multiple takes so that when I'm editing, I just pick the best one and I put all the lines together in editing. That's why there's a lot of jump cuts in my video and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't talk that fast, but the videos make it look like I'm talking like this. But it helps me to be able to offer a lot of value within the shortest possible time. What's at the top of my wish list? $1 million.
For what, night? Just have $1 million.
If I have $1 million now, the first thing not the first thing, but one thing that I would definitely do is train a number of creators for free. There's so many things I want to teach creators, but I want to be able to not have to worry about the money and just teach and just offer everything I have. But in a more close to home level, a MacBook Pro would really change my life right now. So that's on my wish list. What my workflow is like, I'm constantly documenting ideas. So right as we're in the middle of this interview, if I get an amazing video idea, I'm going to stop this camera from rolling and I'm going to write it down. That's what I do in the middle of conversations, middle of a church service. Anytime, if I get an idea, I'll stop what I'm doing and write it down. So because of this, I have a bunch of ideas that are just, no matter how raw it is, I'll still write it down. And when I need a video idea, I just pick one up and flesh it out, So that's my process, my ideation process. Because I have like an idea bank, a content bank of different content topics and stuff. I'll just pull one out, build on it, connect it to some experience I have, and then think of how I can make it relatable to the people watching. So in a lot of ways, rather than for example, in a video, if I want to start the video by saying, oh, when I was in the university, because I want everyone who watches this video to see themselves in the story, I would flip that script and rather say everyone at some point in their university journey, right? So it's really important to me to start out the video, start out every piece of content with something that makes people think about themselves and not me, because when people think about themselves, then you have their attention. If you can refer to a past experience or something related to their current circumstance or a future hope or future dream that they have, you have their attention, right? So my workflow is kind of always writing down my ideas, filling up my content bank, pulling out one idea from the content bank and thinking, how do I make this more relatable? Building a script around that, filming, editing, posting, spending time commenting and interacting with the people who interact with my content.
And then all over again.
All over again, repeat. Okay, so I make money through a number of ways. One is influencing. So publicity for brands who want access to my community. I do a lot of influencing. I also make money from content strategy for brands too. For brands who want to figure out how to tell their stories better, how to reach the customers, the audiences that they want. So I do content strategy behind the scenes. A lot of my followers do not know that I do any of this. We also find that there's a prevalent problem that creators have, and it's that of finding community. So we've set up the Booster Academy to cater to that problem, and that's one of the ways that we offer value and make money. So through the Booster Academy, we're offering classes in personal branding, content strategy, communication for social media. We're also putting out digital products that help creators to tell their stories better and to reach out to their target audiences in ways that they actually want to listen to. We had about 600 people go through the Booster Academy between January and now, and we're still just in the early stages. There's really no limit to what we plan to do in the future through the Booster Academy. Our motto is like helping creators grow and turning regular people into creators. So it's not just for creators, but it's for anyone who feels like they have a message, they have something that they think the world needs to hear and they don't know how to pass it across. The Booster Academy is where you need to be. Next session starts in September 2020. What do I do for fun? I don't like this question because it just brings to light how boring your life is. What do I do for fun? Cut! So I'm not gonna lie, criticism isn't nice. I hardly ever hear criticism and go, oh great, thank you so much. Although deep down I always appreciate criticism and I find a way to thank the people that it comes from. However, I'm very conscious of who it is coming from, what their intent is, and what are their credentials, right? I don't just listen to anyone criticize me. There are people who criticize and I honestly just don't pay attention for my own health and for my own well-being. But when it comes from people who I know have my best interest at heart and people who have, a wealth of experience, people who know what I don't know, then I definitely listen to them. Even when it's unpleasant, I still thank them. I still check my own processes and see what can I adjust, what can I fix, as much as it's within my power. Yeah. What I do have is like a work-life rhythm, right? I think my work is built into my life and my life is built into my work. So all of it just kind of interweaves and I find a way to make it work. Quora.com. Everybody start spending more time on Quora.com. It's a social media platform, but it's just people asking questions and qualified people answering those questions. So if you go on Quora, you probably might get addicted, but I think it's better for you than an Instagram addiction. So Quora.com. Final thoughts. I strongly believe that everyone is a creator. If you have a brain, you are a creator. Your brain has the ability to make connections that you don't even imagine, and you don't know how interesting your life is until you decide to make a story out of everything, right? This is a decision I made just some years ago, and in a lot of ways my life is a lot different than it was, and I'm grateful for it. I don't have any regrets. I'm a full-time creator now, and I wouldn't have it any other way. In my line of work, I've gotten used to so many people just twisting the things I say and going to do something else, and I always always say it's very important to take advice and put it within context. So don't listen to anybody who just on the internet says, this is how I think you should live. You should always put it within the context of your life. What works for you? Don't just copy. A friend of mine says copy but don't paste, right? Like copy, refine before you now paste. So Salem King everywhere. Just Google Salem King, search for Salem King on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and you find me. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Salem King, and this is BTS with Influence Films.